Hello, viewers. Welcome to another segment of It's a Learning Curve. And John, welcome back again.
Hello, glad to be here.
Great. So, today, John is going to talk about the cost and pricing of a product. Before we go any further, I would like to mention that this segment is divided in two, in which, in one segment, John will explain the pricing of consumer based products, and in the following segment next week, he will be talking about the pricing of business to business product. So, John, I would like to turn it towards you, and please, you can go ahead with your presentation and your tips on how to do the pricing and what is the cost and how it differs from the pricing of any product, and how do we do the pricing of any consumer-based products.
Sure, Trupti. Thanks for having me on, and I'm pleased to talk about pricing. I've been involved in a lot of pricing exercises, and it can be daunting. And I think that what I'd like to do with these 10 or 15 minutes is to make it less daunting. There isn't it's not like a math problem where there's one right answer.
All right.
Every answer could be the right problem. There are many, many, many pricing strategies.
Yeah.
A lot has been written.
Yeah.
I urge you to Google pricing strategies, and you'll see all of the different things that come up, tips and tricks. So there's been a lot written, which is good. What I thought I would do is I found an article that, to me, really hit the high points of how to walk through pricing strategies, what's important about pricing, and what you want to do is find the best articles. So if you don't mind, I'd like to share the screen and just maybe walk the audience through this article and talk about, because it highlights the key principles to think about and 7 distinct strategies.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, let me pull up. There we go. Okay, so this article was written by, it's called Pricing Strategies, which is best for your business, which I thought was an interesting question because there isn't a clear answer. And the objective is there's a whole lot of different answers, and here are ways to think about it. And again, this article spoke to me because there's lots of buzzwords that can be scary. And this article does a great job of talking through the different strategies, educating you quickly on what they mean. They're not rocket science at all. And you should all be familiar when we walk through this. Oh yeah, I've had that with Amazon, and I've had that with my superstore, and I buy that all the time. So I hope to make this a lot of fun. So the first point here, it really is, in your business, what do you charge your customers? How do you think about charging customers? And what this author does, and I really spoke to me, number one principle. The number one principle is, and I've talked about this before, figuring out the value. It's really about your value points to the customer. Your target customer, you have value points, probably more than one, probably not as many as 10. So you really have to think about your value points to the customer, what they think is valuable. And you are trying to capture as much value as you can. So we talked about that. But what's really important, you actually are putting a quantified number on each of the value points, and you're adding that up, and you're messaging and communicating that, as in principle number 6, to come up with an actual pricing number that says, this is the value. Oh, and look at the price. You are getting a great deal. It's sort of that simple. The other interesting, these principles were taken out of a book, The Psychology of Price. A lot of this stuff is highly psychological. It's the opposite of math. And and formulaic. It's it really is. It's highly psychological, which I tend to have difficulty with. But it's like anything. You practice it and you try different things and you learn. You can make it more formulaic. And what we'll be going through are 7 formulaic strategies that you've all seen before.
Right.
So the first principle is super important. The second one basically says, it's just the word tangible is a pretty visceral term. It really is psychological. They have to be able to touch it. Comparable, if you're pricing ice cream, you can't price it. It's very difficult to price ice cream at $20 a gallon when everybody else is at um, $3 a gallon or $5 a gallon. You really do have to have comparable terms. Um, Number 4 to me is very interesting, and this really does play. It plays into everything, business and consumer, but you could be selling the exact same product into different markets. And what you really want to do is reframe that and reflect a different price on it.
Right.
And the easiest thing, when you change prices, you're really changing the value points that you're looking for customers that hit with your customers. So reframing, if you change your price, you're typically reframing what your offer is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Price differentiation is the key enabler for profit. So again, this is may seem duh, but the way you make money directly relates to your price, what you price it at, and your volume.
Yeah.
Those are the two big things. So, and that reflects to number 7. If you're trying to find this balance of to increase profits, you may have to turn away some customers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this balancing exercise is all about. So let's jump in and talk about, okay, so putting these principles into action with pricing strategies. And I will say, you could also argue these strategies are tactics. So I think the way these are written, I think the words interchangeable. These are pricing tactics and they're pricing strategies.
Right.
So pricing for market penetration, this is where you hear words like loss leader. You're sacrificing margin to gain volume customers. You want to gain market share, and you're willing to take a penalty saying, look at the deal, like the value points are this price,
Yeah.
which is competitive, but look, I'm actually going to take a major haircut. I'm going to take arguably not a loss, but you're going to take a big decrease because I want a lot of customers to sign up for this.
Right.
And that's a clear strategy that a lot of the computer people have done with SaaS services, VC-backed services to gain market share. And then over time, you raise the price back up. I just saw this with Verizon and Comcast do this all the time. If I have Comcast and they just hit me with $250, I said, I can't pay this.
Yeah.
Verizon's offering, so I cut the Comcast cord. I went with Verizon, and they're going to raise my price in 12 months. There's a good bit.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of these strategies has an example, and this is Netflix did this to gain market share. And again, their value points were, look at the deal you're getting with 3 DVDs at this very low price, and was a clear market penetration, and they got loyalty and lots of customers. The second one listed here is premium pricing. And so a lot of manufacturers, a lot of customers want premium pricing. And premium pricing, everyone knows as these are luxury brands. Think of all of your perfumes. You're paying $150, $500 to $500 for a little bottle of perfume, right? That's the kind, you're building a brand. It's highly exclusive. All of the high-end car brands, all of the high-end alcohol brands, they all want premium pricing. Um, and they're messaging that there's exclusive ingredients, there's exclusive things you can't get from other brands, only in this brand. And the example they give is a UK coconut water company. And you see this in a lot of foods and flavorings, a lot of premium priced products.
Yeah.
And it's because of the ingredients and the quality and the packaging and all kinds of reasons. And then taking to the other end, let's go to the third strategy, economy pricing. Economy pricing are terms like, this is the big box stores, Costco, Walmart, BJ's, right? They no frills stores, dollar store. Here you can see this is a UK company that wrote this article. And dollar store in the UK must be called Poundland. Everything is £1. And those are good examples because the manufacturers really don't do very little packaging, advertising, promotion, no frills. It's all about volume. Let's move some product, and that's they go with economy pricing, and you see that in all the big box stores. Now here's a term, interesting word, the fourth strategy, price skimming. And skimming, think about how you came from cream skimming. Think of what all the tech companies do. All the laptop companies, all of the Apple, here they use the example of Apple. When you have your new iPhone, the i12 just came out.
Yeah.
The early adopters pay top dollar. You gotta have the i12. And it stays at that price for a period of time and then goes to the next level of consumer, and then the next level, all the way down to the laggard who, everyone's got one.
Right.
And so that's what price skimming, there's tiers of skimming the cream, and all of the consumer product companies with TVs, laptops follow this kind of model.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And here's another buzzword, anchoring. What is anchoring? Everybody has seen this tactic. This is where, and it's a psychological tactic where, say, three prices are presented to you. Studies show, research shows, it says right here, that consumers are almost always likely to perceive the third lowest priced one shown compared to these two other higher priced ones
Mm-hmm.
are better value. So who has taken that to another level? Amazon. Amazon shows you a carousel of options. And look what Amazon has found, and this is where it's highly psychological. They have found they will anchor that are lower value, but are items if they did their own search.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really an interesting. Oh, sorry, that's um, sorry about that. Was Francesca calling? I'll give her a call back in 10 minutes. So this was interesting on anchoring, and this is fairly sophisticated retailing, but you can see we've all been, when we compare flights and hotels, we all are just sucked into this. And so it's good to know what games are being played.
Yeah.
Is this the last one? This is the sixth one. I don't like the term here, psychology pricing, because in some ways there's a lot of psychology pricing in all of them. What this refers to as basically the 99-cent effect, or the 99 effect is what they refer. And that means consumer studies have clearly shown that pricing your product at $199 versus $200 or $1.99 versus $2,
Hmm.
consumers put your product, the 199, in a higher value, absolutely a higher value category in their mind than the $2 product.
Yeah.
It's just a psychological effect. So that's why you'll always see something 99
Yeah.
in a lot of pricing. And example, all the stores, I don't have to go into that.
Yeah.
And then this is an interesting one, bundle pricing. Bundle pricing is if you have a number of products. And this is an interesting when you play this strategy. And another way is buy one get one free. That's
Yes.
bundle pricing. This has clearly to do with your inventory, some of your other products, where you're putting multiple products together and you're messaging and communicating, look at this great deal.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's for some other reason that you have excess or that you've got a lower, you were able to get a higher run rate. There's some other reason, but you're clearly messaging value points that this bundle is a super deal for the consumer.
Yeah.
And the reasons do it, get rid of stock. Um, there's what is the trade here?
Yeah.
And this, it has to be thought through.
Right.
And so restaurants, dine in for two. So we see this one a lot as well.
Yeah.
And so this was the 7 bullet points. I'd like to throw one more in, which I think is a very important one, particularly for computer companies, gaming companies, and the internet world. It's called freemium. The buzzword freemium has, I was very surprised to not see it in this article because it really has taken the world by storm, particularly in gaming. Candy Crush Saga and these games are free. They
Yeah.
literally are free. And if you have a product and you can do a version of the product that just gets it into their hand
Mm-hmm.
and then just keep upselling or I think another way I've heard it described is options pricing. You're providing more options, but basically you're upselling to add-ons and letting them add to the game, and you're building more and more of a loyalty, but you're making it very easy to get started.
Yeah.
That's a very good strategy, I think, too, particularly if you have something compelling like a game to get into people's hands or a piece of software in a highly competitive market. Uh, so that freemium, you may have heard the freemium strategy is a good one, and I just wanted to mention that. So that's kind of my summary of here are the generic strategies or tactics for pricing. Why, how you think about ideally about value, not about cost plus.
Yes.
Notice that there is some people argue there is a cost plus pricing strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that's a really bad strategy. Why? So let's say retailers, we're going to price our products at cost plus 20%.
Yeah.
What that means, you will never, ever, in a perfect ideal world, ever be able to make more than 20%.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's
not a good way to price. And so that's where, again, it's an important principle. Think about value, and your pricing strategies tie it to value, not to your costs.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you
So,
stop sharing, I can ask
oh,
only a simple question.
absolutely, yeah. Where is that up here? There. Okay.
Yeah, I must say these were a lot of important and very useful pointers which need to be thought through when you are pricing your product.
Right.
I just had one question which keeps coming to my mind every time I go and shop because I'm a person who likes to shop when there are huge sales
Hmm.
in retail stores. So
Right.
I understand there is a supply chain in which the manufacturer supplies goods to various retailers and they set a price, and then there is some cut the retail stores take, and then some rest of it is given to the manufacturers or whatever it takes. So when I see these huge sales in which there is 75% cutoff in prices, and it's very much towards the value to the customer and not towards them. Are they taking these losses, or they are still making any margins on their profit, or is the retailer taking the loss? I mean, this is a real confusion for me, although it makes
Yeah.
me happy because I get things for a low price. But again, there's a psychology that if you get something for a lower price, the quality of that product is not, I mean, it's not very good.
I believe that the the item you're buying
Hmm.
is a brand.
Yes.
So if you're buying a true non stolen, an original brand
Yeah.
clothing item, or so if it truly is, in your mind, it's a great deal, right? Because you know what the value point of that brand typically goes for.
Yeah.
And so and that's why companies spend a lot of time and money building on the brand.
Yes.
And that's a very important part of anything retail or consumer. Now, you asked a great question because nowhere in that article are the words sales.
Yeah.
And here's the way I think, and it may not be the best answer, but I think you want to think about your business as day to day, to every single day.
Hmm.
People are coming into your store, whether it's food shopping store, clothing store, ice cream store, bakery, all these consumer products,
Yeah.
or your Amazon store.
Yeah.
So you're really thinking about your pricing strategy for every single day. And
Correct.
then built into that in some way, particularly in retail clothing, okay, where does Black Friday fit in?
Yeah.
All right. And how do we think about these these 5 times a year events, or
Hmm.
what do we actually do? Do we move inventory? Do
Hmm.
we, what do we actually do? And I believe it's all pre-thought. They think it out. And, it's easy to say they just have inventory and, at some point it's already been accounted for or something.
Okay.
But so that's my take on how they handle it. That you're actually getting, and the good shoppers can spot the good deals, but price, and again, I don't know how much of because I'm not a leader in
Hmm.
retailing business. But and that's where bringing on somebody who really knows retail stores would say we plan 25% of our revenue for
Right.
6 days of the year. Like,
Right.
I don't know if that's true or not,
Yeah.
because there is a lot of people that shop around their big sales.
Hmm.
So how much of the business plan and the business planning go into those 6 days, which are sale days, right? Everything must go kind of thing.
Yes.
And I actually anticipated a question about sales. And you can't be in business and say clearance sale every day,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
We're going out of business sale. I
Yes.
mean, maybe some rug stores do that all the
Yes.
time, going out of business. You can't be forever going out of business, right? So you really have to come up with a strategy for day-to-day business.
Okay.
That Okay? So does that sort of
Yes,
answer the question?
it does. It makes a lot of things clear to me now. So, John, thank you very much for your time and for the great tips. We look forward to talking with you soon in the next segment about business to business product pricing. Thank
Great. I
you
look
very much
forward to
again.
coming back. Thanks,
Great.
Tripti.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.